Let's begin with the news coming in from Kerala now, where the Chief Minister there has written into the Prime Minister saying that they have supplied to neighbouring states oxygen buffer stock that Kerala had. But that has now meant that Kerala as a state is now left with only 86 metric tons of buffer. He's also adding that it is impossible to allow oxygen to be taken out of a state from the 10th of May. To help manage the crisis, the state has ensured 450 metric tons buffer stock without putting pressure on the national grid as well. And he points out that this is due to the demands from neighbouring states that the buffer stock was allowed to be transported, and now buffer stock is at 86 metric tons only. Sneha Merikoshi joins us for the very latest now. Sneha, essentially the Chief Minister saying that he helped when he could, but now even he seems to be running down on that buffer stock.
Well, that's right. In fact, if you look at the figures that the Chief Minister has spoken about, from 450 metric tons of buffer stock, he's now saying that they are left with only 86 metric tons of buffer stock, and starting after today, it will be practically impossible to allow oxygen to be taken out of the state, the oxygen which is produced within Kerala to be taken out of the state. He's also said as of 10th May, the 40 metric tons for Tamil Nadu will be given, but after 10th May, it's going to be difficult. Practically impossible is the word that he uses to be giving out oxygen which is produced in the state out of the state. Now, what does this also mean? Why is this urgency? Kerala is, according to the letter, Kerala is expecting the cases to surge up to around 6 lakhs by 15th of May. This against what seems to be around, a little over 4 lakhs as of now. So that being a huge jump that Kerala is looking at. And Kerala has also said, because geographically it is very away from the steel plants where these vaccines are being produced, where this oxygen is being produced, and therefore he said that all the 219 metric tons of oxygen that is produced in the state should be allowed to be used by Kerala. That's another part of the letter. And he said allocate cryogenic tankers and that should be pooled along with the oxygen, running oxygen express for all the southern states, including Andhra, Telangana, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka, as well as Kerala. So this oxygen issue can be sorted and the need for oxygen can be met. Now, Sonal, it's also important to mention that, there was a close call in some of the hospitals in Kerala today in the Kasaragod district, where one of the hospitals had to shift out some of its patients, COVID patients who were on ICU ventilator support. They had to be shifted out to another hospital because they preempted that there could be an oxygen shortage. And after the patients were moved, as they were being moved, eventually 15 cylinders did reach. But this is literally the situation now that some hospitals in Kerala are facing. And these are the shots that we leave you. Of course, it started raining, so the police and all have moved aside, but empty roads on the street, a medical shop which has been opened, only essential services being allowed. And across Kerala, we have been seeing that there is extensive testing which has been happening, extensive checkings which have been happening to ensure that no unnecessary or non-essential movement happens across the state. Kerala's test positivity rate exceedingly, it's only increasing. It's crossed 28%. So that also, of course, a huge concern.
Right. Sneha, one question really at this point. This export, or perhaps the surplus which was being provided to other states, really, with that stopping, how is that likely to impact the neighbouring states? Do we have an idea about that?
Well, that's also something which is going to be crucial to be seen, because as you have it, there are other states that have already stopped the supply of oxygen which is produced within their geographical boundaries to other states. So this is not going to be the first instance where this has happened. But definitely, despite Kerala gearing up for what could have been, despite augmenting the capacity of oxygen availability within the state for over a year, that's clearly not been sufficient. and Kerala was asking for help with oxygen availability, even though it's been preparing buffers across districts. So now it has come ahead to the point where it's saying that after 10th of May, that's after today, it's going to be difficult to allow oxygen that's produced within Kerala to be taken out of the state. So that, of course, also going to have ramifications, but it's not the first state to do this under this crisis.